Welcome back to the Vinyl Work Podcast. As always, I'm Steve Beach.
And I'm Brian Mayer. Hello.
Brian, I have some exciting news to tell you.
What's up, buddy?
So, I've been looking at our emails at vinylword22@gmail.com.
People have been writing us?
Yes, we have some very, very generous people. It's amazing.
Okay.
So,
what's up?
Yeah, so let me pull one up here real quick. So this one guy, this is kind of cool. So he wants to send us an Xbox, like a brand new Xbox One. And so all I have to do is click on this link, which is pretty easy. You know, I'm pretty tech savvy. I know how to do those kind of things. So I do that, and then, he'll send us one within, 24 hours. Oh, wait.
No.
Hold on. Okay. Oh, there's another one. What? This is crazy. So this other person has this all expense paid vacation that all I have to do is send in $10. That's it, just $10. All I'm going to do is send in $10, and we'll send us, I don't know if it's a trip for 4 or whatever.
You beautiful idiot, you.
And there's something about this prince who wants to send us money.
Yeah.
Well, because we do have listeners in other countries, too, like Germany and stuff. So
Yes, Steve. Correlation does not equal causation. Hey, do me a favor. Can
Sure.
you check to see if the spam filter is on?
Why? That didn't really... Let me look. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Sorry, buddy. Don't mean to rain dookie on that parade, but here we are.
I was excited for a minute.
I get it, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I'd rather you keep your money in you.
Okay. Anyway.
So back to the pod, though.
Yeah. So anyway, we are now on side 2. And last week, sometimes maybe I brag about being kind of techie, and I felt really dumb last week because our podcast sounded awful. And here we are putting out a video. Hey, we're in a professional studio. We sound great.
Okay, but here's the thing. Just because we're in a professional studio, and that part is true, we are physically inside a professional studio.
We are.
That doesn't make us professionals by any
True.
stretch of the imagination.
True, I guess. Yeah,
So
you're right.
Just because you swim in the ocean doesn't make you a fish.
Good point.
I'm like, listen,
Point made.
I'm just bringing it. Yeah.
Right.
So, but the point was, we didn't know how to use the soundboard correctly. We didn't know how to turn on or off microphones. We didn't know how to adjust their levels. And it wasn't until after we fully recorded an entire episode.
We were like, this sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Brian sounds like he's in another room.
Yeah.
And Steve sounds like he's eating the mic.
Right. So, yeah, we went back and we came in and we just put in some dedicated time trying to figure out, okay, this button does this.
Right.
Like, what's this menu?
Right.
What does that do?
Yeah.
So we scribbled some notes, and here we are.
And here we are.
Take 2.
Yeah. Thanks to Brian, because I know you were kind of fiddling around. You're like, hey, what is this? Like, I don't know. Let's look at that. Oh, wait, that looks off.
Here's the thing. Ignorance is my superpower. I have no idea what I'm doing at all. So
hey, you discovered something, man.
Well, and that's it. I was like, I didn't know what I was looking for anything, so I was just looking everywhere.
Yeah.
And, lucky enough, it turned out to be a benefit this time.
Yep. Well, it's just like, the many other people who discover things. I'm sure they were ignorant, too. Like, Newton, who discovered gravity. And, they weren't going out and going, I got to figure out what this gravity thing is.
True. And yes, and if I have seen further, it's only because I've been standing on the shoulders of giants. They might be giants.
Ha! Great band.
I try.
But by the way.
Yeah.
So we are on side 2 of how to train your dog.
Yes, and again, it absolutely, I am tickled to no end that this woman's qualifications are that she was married to a guy who did this.
Right.
If I was a chef, I wouldn't want people to ask my wife to cook a meal for them.
Right.
Because I'm the chef.
Right.
Me!
Right. Yeah, it's like my wife. She's a licensed cosmetologist. She does hair and stuff. So don't ask me to cut your hair.
Yeah.
I don't know the first thing. I'd probably stab you in the head by accident with a pair of scissors or something.
Yeah. Well, if somebody asked you here how to cut hair, which, by the way, that should have been a record.
Yes, it should. Yeah, they missed the boat on that one.
But yeah, and if Lori would be listening to that, she would just be like, why didn't they ask me to do this?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Why is Steve telling people how to cut hair? He has no clue.
Right. It's like, well, I've seen you do it.
Right. It's the same thing. It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're ready?
Absolutely, Steve. Let's drop the needle and get this going.
All right.
Remember, the best method of teaching your puppy manners is prevention.
What?
See that he has
Just
the one
announce.
corner of the living room and that he
Abstinence.
stays there when he is supposed to. If you are visiting, always find a place for him to lie down where he will be out of the way and help him to behave
So he doesn't
that you
bother
both
anyone.
can enjoy the
Preferably
visit.
outside, in someone
Never
else's
let
yard.
Your puppy jump up on
You
people.
didn't want a dog,
this
did
is
you?
a very bad
No.
habit and should be stopped at once. When your puppy approaches you, lean over and pet him before he gets his front paws off the ground, or get down on
a
your
battle of the
knees
wills.
when he
Who's
comes
first?
running toward you. When you are too late to do this and he jumps all over you, don't pet him. In a sharp
Just
tone,
wrestle
say,
him.
Down. And it may
Dog
be that
wrestling.
you will have to raise your knee if he is a big dog. Your knee will catch him on the chest, and a
And
few
he will enjoy
such
it.
knocks with the word no, no.
Challenge
Soon
accepted.
get over to him. He must stay down. Be sure to pat him when he
Stay
has learned
down.
to reach you properly.
Downward,
A
dog.
little praise when he has done the right
A
thing
yoga
will go a
joke,
long way.
Steve.
Yes.
If he has learned his stay lesson well, you won't have much trouble with him when the doorbell or the telephone rings. Some dogs love to race to the door or the telephone, but
And
if you have
smack right
taught
into
him
it.
to stay, he won't begin this bad habit. Better yet, have him tied up at first until he becomes used to the general noises around the house.
And the general
such
tetherment
as
of the
vacuum
of the
cleaner,
couch.
garbage disposal,
I run to
and
the
electric
door, it's a
shavers being
bad
turned
habit.
on, which might frighten him when he first hears them, but reassure him by talking to him.
Or when he hears the
Let him
chainsaw,
know
or my
these
son's drum
things
set.
won't hurt him. Always remember, a puppy is like a child. He must be properly introduced to all the strange new things around him.
All of them.
Another
Yeah.
annoying habit
They are like
that
children.
you
They're
must
cute
not
and
permit
stupid.
your dog to develop is racing back and forth in the car when you have him with you. This can be very dangerous
Dog
as well
racing?
as annoying.
Yeah,
that
inside
what
the
you mean?
Always
inside
keep
the
him in
car.
the back seat of the car. Have someone drive the first time you take your puppy in the car. Sit with
Just
him,
make sure you check his
holding
rating
him
on Uber.
with his
Right.
leash,
And regardless of
talk
what the
to
Far
him.
Side
Tell
cartoon
him to
is,
sit
do not
and take a
let the
firm
dog
hold of him
drive.
and make
Right.
him behave. Make your first ride a short one, and be sure you pick a good
Drive to the end of the
driver,
driveway,
not
then come
one
back.
who likes to take the corners on two wheels. This might make your dog sick, and he may never
Dukes of Hazzard, boys.
again.
Yep.
Yeehaw!
So, when you stop the car, don't let your dog leap out of the car first. Have him
Yeah.
stay.
Don't let them
until
experience
you say the word,
joy.
Okay, come. This is most important. Sometime
So
you
Lori
might
tells me.
have to stop your car to pick up a passenger or let someone out.
Pick out the
and you don't
passenger.
want your dog
What
to
strange
get out
person
the
will I let in
street
my
if
car
there's a lot of
today?
traffic.
Let's see.
It might prove fatal to him. Another vital lesson to teach your dog is to stay when you have him in the house and you open the door. So many dogs race out the minute the door is opened. This
Freedom!
can be both annoying
I don't know
and
about your dogs,
dangerous.
but mine
He
have to
might knock
pee
someone
usually.
down
Yes, mine
if
do
he's a
too.
big dog.
Several times
Have
a
him
day.
sit by the door and keep your hand on the doorknob until he is settled down and you have his
Keep your
full
hand on your
attention.
knob, Steve.
You
Yep.
might have to do this with
Disregard
a
the
collar
fact
and
that it's pouring
leash
down rain and you're
until
making
he
your friends stand out in the
understands.
rain.
Right.
Then open the door, but say to him, stay.
Sorry, buddy. I'm trying to
Let
train
him
my
sit
dog.
for a
Can you
few
bear with me 5 minutes?
And then tell him, okay, let's go. Never tease your dog, even as a puppy, just to entertain your friends. This could lead to a very mixed-up dog later on when he is grown. Don't taunt him by slapping, however gently, or grabbing
Taunt
at
him by slapping?
Shove him around all he wants and tumble him gently.
Just don't use a fish.
But never
Tumble
tease
him?
him.
Yeah, tumble him. Yeah, you make sure you tumble dry low in the dryer.
Get your puppy interested in a toy.
Just like
He
gymnastics.
can amuse
Just
himself
imagine.
by the hour
Dum-dum,
with a
dum-dum,
hard rubber
dum-dum.
ball, hard rubber toys, or hard piece of wood.
A piece
Never
of
give
wood.
your puppy
What were
pieces
toys in
of
the
softwood or soft
50s?
rubber
What are they
toys or
made
balls
of?
that he can swallow or tear up.
Good doggy.
And never
Here's
should
a
he
piece
be
of
given
ash.
plastic toys, sponges, or small
Here's a big piece of
stones
metal.
to
Gnaw on
play
this
with.
for a while.
Your puppy's
This
toys
came off the
are
car.
very important. They will help to comfort him and make him feel at home
It's
the
an
first
emotional
days
comfort
away
wood.
from his mother. Later, they will help in his exercise
I
too,
love this oak.
and encourage him to learn his lessons quickly. Don't make the mistake of giving him articles of clothing or shoes to play with.
Don't give him
He
your
won't
socks
be
or
able to
boxers.
distinguish
Oh, no,
between
she
his
also says
playthings
nylons at
and
some
what
point.
belong
Yeah.
to you or
He
the
might try them
members
on
of
and
your
prance
family.
around the house.
Yeah.
With a new litter of puppies, we tie a hard rubber toy on a strong string or light cord, hang it from a beam in the kennel or pen,
String.
or from a branch of a tree outside. This will keep the puppies
This will give him a chance
busy
to hang
for
himself.
hours and will teach them to become interested in playing.
Okay, just an
The hard
observation
rubber
here.
toy
If you live in
will
the city,
exercise
you don't
their
have
gums
access
and
to
help develop
yards,
their permanent
trees.
teeth, which begin to appear
There are none of those
when
in the
they
city,
are about
Brian.
4
I
months
know.
old.
So, like,
The
but
greatest
what are you
joy
gonna
to
do?
the first Rin Tin Tin was the
Shouldn't
little
have a
squeak
dog.
doll that he was permitted to play with when he had finished a long and exacting scene in a motion picture or after a personal
He won
appearance on the
three Academy
stage.
Awards for that.
He dearly loved his doll and knew that this would be his reward when he had finished his job and done it well.
Like a junkie
Lee would
looking
let
for
him
a
have
hit.
it for just short
Right.
periods at this time, so he never tired of playing with it, and to his dying day he loved his doll. If you can get your puppy keen on one special toy, he will be easy to teach.
And a pause.
Select a lightweight
Oh, there we
slip
go.
chain collar suitable to the size of your dog, the kind that has loops on both ends.
Okay.
This
Oh, that
type
sounds
of
very
collar is
fashionable.
preferred
You know,
for
Steve, if you
training
put 2 on him,
because it
he
gives
becomes a
you
rapper.
proper control
Yeah, and if
over
you
your
put a
dog
clock
at
on
all
it.
times. It is
Oh, he
very
becomes
important
Flava
that you
Flav.
place the
Milk
chain
Bone Flava
collar
Flav.
around your dog's neck the right way. Hold one ring in your left hand above the other. Then drop the lengths of chain through the lower ring. Now you have a loop to slip over your dog's head. Have your dog
A
sit in
loop.
front of you
Knit one,
and
curl
slip the
two.
loop over his head.
You're teaching him how to
When you
knit.
slip the chain over his head, the chain should be on top of his neck, never underneath. Otherwise,
Put
you
the
will
chain
have it on
around his
backward and
midsection.
won't have the proper control of your dog.
Where else would you
Test
put
the
it?
collar
I
on
know.
your wrist a
On
few
his
times
legs?
to be
Right,
sure
on his tail?
You have learned to
Make sure
put
it's
it
good
on
tight on his
every
tail.
time. It is
He
very
runs backwards. I don't know why.
important
He
that
enjoys
your
it.
dog not wear his collar all the time. You should wear it only when he goes out or when you are training him.
Is
A
that a
leash should
thing?
be
Like,
3
people
feet
take
in
their
length
collars
for
off?
walking your dog.
I don't.
And a training leash should
We always
be at
tease and
least
say our
6
dogs are
feet
naked when
long.
they don't have their collars
The type
on.
of leash depends on your dog. Preferably leather with a loop on one end for the hand
likes
to slip
leather,
into,
Yeah.
with a scissor-shaped catch or halter snap on the other end. This catch should be attached to the free ring of the collar. Otherwise, the dog might slip out of the collar if not properly applied. Practice walking your dog on a leash in your yard. Try to guide him
If you're this
always
dumb,
on
maybe
your
you
left
should just
side.
practice
This
walking
is the proper
first.
Right.
position.
Yeah.
But don't force him, and don't worry if he flops down on the grass the first time you try this.
If he's in the
Let him
NBA,
get
he
used
will
to
be
the
called
collar
for a
and
technical.
leash gradually. Let him drag it around for
No
a while.
flopping.
He must
Dragging
learn to know
around,
that the leash is a
dragging a
symbol of
line.
a happy time, not a fright or a force. You don't want him to become leash shy. After he has learned to walk on your left
At least,
side,
why is the dog
without
renting? Is it a
lunging
6-month
or
lease?
pulling,
Or
No,
take
leash.
him out on the street.
With an H at
And
the
if he
end.
gets
Oh,
too far
okay, I was
ahead
confused
or
for a
too
second.
far behind, use a series of
No,
short
leash shy
jerks
is bad.
on the leash
Gun shy,
and
perfectly
say
fine.
Yeah,
heel,
perfectly fine.
and have him stay close to your left side. His head should be
Unless
right
you're
by
right-handed.
your left leg as you walk
Your right
along.
pawed.
The collar loose and the leash slack at all times.
Slacker.
Encourage him constantly. No coaxing here. Make
Really
your
pour it
command
on.
heel,
Make him feel
sharp
very
and
confused.
authoritative. Then praise him when he comes to the correct position. If he hasn't learned to come to you when you call him, use the collar and leash by stooping down, gently pulling on the leash, and say "come" until he has mastered this
Get your
command.
butt over here.
Right. Do not do Scorpion in Mortal Kombat.
Learning to be quiet for a period of time is very necessary
Hadouken.
for your puppy. This will give him a chance to relax and to sleep.
Give him
However,
slippers, a
it should
newspaper,
not be for
a
more
pipe if he
than
prefers.
2 to 4 hours at a time. Otherwise, he will think you have forgotten about him.
He'll think you've
If he
forgotten
is
about him
just
after
a
2
puppy,
minutes.
a
He has
shorter
no
period
concept
is
of time.
advisable.
A minute, a
Select
second, an
a
hour, a
spot
day.
in
I don't know what they
house
are, but you're
that will be
gone.
out
Right.
of the way of traffic, and where he can watch you work.
Every time you
If
leave,
are
they run
going
to a
read,
window and just
tie
scream,
him to the
"Is
base of
this
your chair and
forever?"
Tell him to stay, and give him a pat. However, before this is done, be sure that your dog has relieved himself outside and you know
Or
he
on the
should
rug.
be comfortable for the period of time that you want him
What's
tied
that smell?
up.
Oh, it's just my dog.
Always
It's fine.
select the
Yeah.
same spot for his tie-up lesson in the house, and
His
try to do
tie-up
this
lesson.
every day so that he becomes
Okay.
accustomed to the house.
Yeah,
and
no,
feels
we're
secure in
both
his
going to
own
pass out.
corner.
Yeah, let's just move on.
This way, you can work around him, but ignore him completely.
Yeah, because that's what I do.
At
Since I
this
work
time
from
in the
home, I tie
house,
my
do
dogs
not
up all
feed
the
or water
time.
him. This is excellent to teach him poise. This will also aid in housebreaking your puppy.
It's a very formal
When
dog.
tying your
Just
puppy
walking around with an
outside,
old-fashioned.
use a chain
Poise
with
and
a swivel
congeniality.
on one end so that he can move about if he
There
wishes.
she
The other
is,
end
the
tied
French
to a branch of a
poodle.
tree, but have enough
Poise.
length to the chain
For
so that he can
dogs.
lie down and be comfortable. The swivel is a metal ring that revolves in a complete circle and is attached to the chain collar with a snap hook.
The
This
swivel was
way,
also
he
a dance
cannot
craze in
become
the
twisted
70s.
up
Yeah.
in the chain.
Do the swivel.
Here again, the chain collar is good to use, since he is learning to respect the give and take of such a training collar. He will soon learn that if he lunges, it will tighten up,
The give and
but
take.
if he
What a deep
relaxes,
relationship
it won't
they have.
I
hurt him.
know. It's
He may be
complicated.
unhappy the first time he is tied, but stay with him and talk to him.
He won't ever
until
be
he has
happy
settled
being
down.
tied.
I know.
This is a good exercise to teach him poise and self-control. By all
Poise
means, be
for
sure that he
dogs.
is comfortable. If
Sounds
the
like a
weather is
perfume.
warm,
Like
tie him
Calvin
under
Right.
a big shade tree. And if it is cold, tie him inside,
Put him in an
away
igloo.
from drafts. Always use a chain
Give
to
him a
tie
tiny coat.
He can chew a rope and get away, and you don't want this habit to develop. However, keeping a puppy tied up all the time
Other habits you don't want
will
to
make
develop.
him mean
Smoking.
and vicious.
Drugs.
Just met your dog outside
The
smoking.
sit-stay exercise is
What's
most
up, man?
useful to teach your dog.
Every 2 hours, you know
Hold
what
the
I mean?
dog
Got
on
the
a short
shakes.
lead with your left hand, then with your right hand push him down gently but firmly.
I
on his
wanna
hindquarters
push
until he
you
sits.
down when
And
I
say the word
train,
sit.
when I train.
Put a hand on his head and walk around him counterclockwise, repeating stay or hold
Duck.
it. If he starts to
Duck.
get up,
Duck.
press him back with
Goose.
your right hand. Gradually,
Woo!
in circles without
He's a
touching
dog.
his
He'll
head.
be very confused.
Eventually, you can walk away from your dog and he will stay in sit position for 3 minutes.
Because
Praise
you've broken
him if
his
he does
brain.
his exercise well. Let him know he has done what you want him to do. Also, as you make the
Yes,
circles
dog.
around him,
You've
clap
done
your
just
hands
what I
so
wanted.
that he becomes accustomed to noises around him. The object is he must stay in that position in spite
I'm also
of
glad, Brian,
distracting
that she's,
noises and
you
people
know,
around
she's
him.
talking freely, that she's not
The
reading
downstay
from a
exercise
script
is
because
another
it doesn't
good one
sound
to teach your
scripted at
dog
all when
poise
she
and
speaks.
control.
Very natural.
Have
I
your
do
dog
agree with
sit.
you.
Then gently press his shoulders
Again,
down, taking
she's an
hold
expert
of his
because
front
she was
paws
married
and
to
pull
a
them
dog
forward
trainer.
Yes,
with the
absolutely.
word down.
Knowledge
And
by
repeat the
marriage.
circling, the same as a sit-stay position. Clap your hands as you circle around
Like a
him.
flamenco.
Then walk away from him, but keep an eye on him. If he makes the move to get up, come in immediately with the word stay or down.
Or
He
stupid.
should stay in
Or
this
you're not
position
listening.
for a full 3 minutes.
Bad dog.
If he
Or,
doesn't
"Hey,
get his
what are
lessons
you
right
doing?
the first
I
time,
thought we talked
be
about
patient
this."
and keep showing him until he understands. Don't
Yeah,
get too
because
soon
dogs
or
are
give up.
logical.
He may be slow in
All the
learning.
time. She done?
My husband
Oh,
never liked
darn.
to refer to his dogs as trick dogs. He preferred them
'Cause
to
he
be
got in
known
trouble
as
for that
educated,
once.
which is a lot different. You may have seen trick dogs in the circus or sideshows.
I try not to go to the
performing
circus.
automatically on
I
cue.
know.
All the carnies.
They are really remarkable, but they seem so sad. You don't want your dog to be a circus performer.
A clown
You want
dog
him
with
to
the
be happy
tears
and
painted on his
delight
fur.
doing things to please you.
An Emmett Kelly
Learning
clown
tricks
dog.
is good discipline and helps in a dog's general mental development. To teach your dog to
Other
fetch
things that
is
help
easy
with mental
if your
development.
puppy likes to play.
Wellness retreats.
He will run after a ball or toy.
Team building
Start
exercises.
out with
Guided
short
meditation.
distances at first. Stoop down,
Imagine
or
that
better
you
yet,
are the ball.
sit down on the grass and have him
Now
come
you
to
are
you
being
by saying,
chased.
"Come."
Isn't that great?
He will soon catch on. However, if he is distracted by birds flying or other outside noises, take
He's
him
a dog.
inside.
Yeah,
A
because
long
he's a
hallway
dog.
is an excellent
Squirrel.
place
Yep.
to teach your dog to retrieve. He won't have any
Up
place
might
else
be
to
the
go
greatest
but right to you.
presentation of a
If you
dog
have
thought
trouble getting
in
your
any
dog
movie
to
ever.
catch an object, have him sit
Hi
down,
there.
place the object in his mouth, and say, "Take it." With your hand over
Take
his
it,
mouth,
take it now,
look
eat
under
it.
his chin and say, "Hold." When you take the object out of his mouth, say,
He will
"Give."
growl at you.
Yeah.
And when you throw it, say, "Fetch," or
That
"Go
was my
get it."
food.
And after he
You
has
threw it
picked
5
up,
yards away.
say "come" and have him bring it to you. Most dogs love to do this. Teaching
Not
your puppy
mine.
to
Nope,
retrieve
nope.
comes
I have
in handy
never had a dog
in going
do
after
this.
the paper, and he can be taught at an early age to do this.
See, there's again. He
Dogs
can
love to
be
bring in the
taught.
paper, but teach
to
him
obey.
the right way. Don't let him tear it up. Be close by and stay with him, even if you have to help him carry it the first time. Praise him and say,
Help him carry?
"Good dog."
Because those
Let him
newspapers
know
are
he
so
is
heavy,
pleased
Brian.
you with
Yeah,
a
I know.
pat.
All that ink and paper.
Discourage your dog
I think
from
at that
fetching
point the
everything
dog
he
is
sees.
training you.
He might
Right,
become a nuisance,
yes.
especially
Maybe heavy
if
for
he
a
fetches
Chihuahua.
the neighbor's
Yeah.
newspaper.
That'd be funny
When he
though.
picks up something that
It's in the
isn't
mouth,
his,
their
say to
back
him
legs are in the
firmly,
air from the weight
"No,
distribution
no,
being off."
for shame," and show him his own toys and tell him these are his toys to play with.
Yeah, just tell
This
them
is
just
a good
like
time
that.
to teach him
They understand
not to touch
possession.
anything
Exactly.
that isn't his. For this reason, we don't encourage using shoes or nylon stockings to train with. It stands to reason
Nylon
if
stockings.
he is
Or he
permitted
could
one
walk
time
around
to play
wearing
with
them.
these
Okay,
personal
unless you're
belongings,
a quarterback
and
from the
another
New York
time
Jets,
scolded
then you can
if
use
he
nylon
picks them up,
stockings all
he
you
is
want.
going to
Right.
be puzzled and confused. Always have ready some of his own toys and keep them in one spot where he can find them. Like a child has a box for his toys, your puppy must have a
A
place
box for his
too.
toys. There should be
If
an
your
easier way
puppy
to say
is
that.
reluctant to pick up an object,
just say it.
his
I know.
mouth may be sore from teething. Check his gums.
Or chewing on your shoes.
If they are inflamed, or if his
Or
mouth is
anything.
drooling quite a bit,
I had a dog eat a
then
table
it is
leg.
best to
Oh
put
my
off
gosh.
this exercise until his mouth is normal.
And then at that point, you
Teaching
can
your
give him his
puppy
own little
to catch an
toothbrush.
object
I'm just like,
balanced
how
on
many
his
people know
nose
what a
is very
normal
cute
dog
trick.
mouth is?
Right.
A light matchbox or a
He has
paper
bad breath.
match
I guess
holder
it's
is
normal.
good.
Uh-huh.
Take hold of his muzzle lightly, balance the object on his nose, have him hold it for a few
Have
seconds.
you ever tried
then
this
tell him
specific
to
trick with a
catch
dog?
it.
No.
It will
It
take
lasts
time,
maybe a
but
half
be
second.
patient.
Yeah.
He will like to do it and
Just
will
like
flip
food
the
by the
box in the
mouth.
air
Oh,
and
no, I
catch
want to
it.
eat it.
Try this with his favorite toy after he has mastered the matchbox. Most dogs
Or
love
try with
to
a slice of
shake
steak.
hands, and this is an easy trick to teach.
No,
Get
it's
your puppy
No.
in a sitting position. Gently press under his chin with your left hand to throw him slightly off balance. And
And if you press the button under his chin, his tail comes up.
And grasp his
Robot
paw,
dog.
shaking it gently. Do this
Replace the
half a dozen
batteries every
times
2 to
a
4
day
weeks.
For a few days, and soon,
Even a
with
robot
just
dog
the
will still
word shake,
randomly pee on your floor.
he will automatically
Oh,
give
he's
you
got a
his
leak
paw.
again.
Yep.
Make a fuss over your dog when he has mastered the handshake. Let him know you are pleased with him.
You can
If
teach
you
him all,
want
you know,
left
the
paw,
cool handshake with
press
the double
under his
slap, the
chin
clap,
with
and the
your right
punch.
hand
And
Oh
the,
my gosh, that
and
would
get
be
him off
awesome.
balance, and
I was
his
thinking
left
we could
paw
also
will
teach
come
him a
up.
business handshake where they
Some
put the other
dogs
paw behind your
are
elbow.
natural
Right,
handshakers.
yeah.
They know this is a way to get your attention, so encourage this early in their training. Be careful not to grab or pull so it hurts him. Just take his paw gently.
what about when your dog's stretching?
Because sitting up is an unusual position
Pull that
for a
leg.
dog, he will need help at first. Be sure that he is sitting down squarely and is comfortable.
Squirrely?
A small rug or pad under
Sitting
him
down
will help so he
Squirrely.
won't slip.
What does that
corner
look
is a
like?
good place to try this. Lift him gently by his front legs until he is in an erect position. Keep
No,
him
Steve,
there
no, don't.
A few
Moving on.
moments and say, "Sit up." Then release his feet and put one hand under his chin to help him keep his balance. Keep repeating to him, "Sit up, sit up." Hold him there for only a few seconds. Then
Because
let him
that's
down
about as long as
at
it's going
grade.
to
Yeah,
last.
then they
Repeat
try to
this
bite you
several
because
Yes.
times a
they're
day
like,
until
what
he
is
gets the
going
idea
on?
that he can sit up by himself. Very often, you will find it helpful at this point to motion him up with the hand, holding it above him and snapping your fingers to attract his attention upward
Over here,
while you
over
give
here.
the command.
Yeah.
Encourage
Look.
him if he does it well. If he flops down the first time you try having him sit up,
Which will
it
happen.
may be an indication that his back is too weak, and I would suggest that you wait until he is older to try this exercise.
Wait until he's
To
15
teach
years
your
old.
dog
Take
to
a-
back up,
Take him to
have
like
him
a
stand
dog
in front
doctor
of you
to
on
check
the
him for
leash,
scoliosis.
so you will have
Take him to a dog
control of your
chiropractor.
dog and nudge him on the chest. Extend the leash in front of you, and at the same time
Nudge him
stay
on the
back.
chest.
You
It's
may
like a-
have to
like a
step
chest
on
bump.
his toes a few times
Good dog. Ugh.
to get this over to him.
You're my dog,
After a few
dog.
times on the leash, you can get him to back without the leash. To teach your dog to crawl, have him down.
Get some barbed wire.
And with one hand on
And
his
make a
back,
small area, only
extend
1
the
foot
other
high
hand
in your
with his
backyard.
favorite toy in front of him,
Shoot guns and make the
ask him
ground
to
all
crawl
muddy.
forward.
1940s movies work really well for this.
For this exercise.
Have them watch about an hour of those before trying this.
Dogs love to lie on their backs, and teaching
always
him
thought
to
cats were
roll
liars.
over is easy.
Yeah, cats are
if you
liars,
play
Steve, but
with him
that's
on
not
the
what we're
floor.
talking about here.
Make it as much a game as possible.
Can we talk
This
about
can be
what
done
a
when he's quite
training
young,
record
in
for
fact.
cats would
When
sound
he's
like?
lying on his
It would be
back,
short.
Put one
Yeah.
hand in
Give
the
them
middle
food.
of his
Leave 'em
back
alone.
And the other under his
Don't.
chest and shoulders.
Just don't even
Give the
try.
hand,
Just
roll
don't train.
over,
Just leave 'em
and
alone.
turn him gently over as you do so.
I didn't
When
realize
he
you
is
hated
over,
yourself.
Praise him highly. Let him know what a colossal accomplishment he
Or
has
colossal
completed.
failure he is.
Do this 3 or 4 times
Just
in an
oversell it.
evening, and once he
I
seems
just
to
can't
have the
believe you
idea,
did that.
cut down gradually your assistance until he can roll over by himself, just on command.
Just like shoving dogs.
Pushing him over.
And a spirit
Just
of good
teaching
fellowship
dogs out
will
when
make
you're
him
like in a
happy
dog
and
park just by
enthusiastic
shoving them
about
from the
rolling
side.
over,
It's like
and you
dog
might get him
tipping.
to go over 2 or 3 times.
Find his
Be
tip hill, just
careful,
lay him down on one side, he
about
just goes rolling down the hill.
overdoing. He may
Yep.
become bored with it as a repeated thing and lose interest. If he objects
I will
to
lose
the
interest
spirit
quickly.
of play, forget about it until he is older. Then get him in a receptive mood by petting and praising him
If
as
you
he
wait
lies
until they're
on his
very old,
side.
rolling's
Don't
easy,
whisk him
'cause they
over
can't get up.
If he is not relaxed, he will resent it very much, and it might turn into a battle.
If you read his
instead
journal,
of a
you'll
game.
be stunned at
This
the
you want
level
to
of
avoid.
vitriol he has for
In
you.
conclusion, training is
Dear
repetition,
diary,
repetition,
today I bit
and
my
yet
master
more
because he
repetition.
put food on my
Only
nose
in
and
that
didn't want me to
way
eat
can
it.
lessons be taught. The result will be
I do
a
not
well-trained
understand the
dog
madness
that
that
you can
lives
be
in this
proud of
house.
and not be ashamed
More
of his
information tomorrow.
behavior.
That was a fun record.
You know, it was really interesting.
Interesting, yeah. And just, I mean, as we've mentioned before, that you and I both have dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And more than half of this record, we're like, nope.
Right.
I mean, our dogs don't run rampant through our house. They're not, you know, they're disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
But still, some of the things that she was talking about was just like, what are you thinking?
Right.
Dogs are logical. You know, have a discussion with them in the car. I don't think that works.
Right. Well, the other part is I think that she underestimates the amount of time that people are willing to invest in an animal
Yeah.
that you feed, look at, and occasionally
Right.
let out to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And that's really it.
Yeah. Spend 30 minutes a day training your dog?
Right.
No, it's the whole day.
Yeah.
You kind of fit 5 minutes, half hour here and there. Because, if you want to get a dog, you have to spend some time.
Yes. If you want to have a good dog,
Right.
if you don't want to have a good dog, if you want the dog to be in control of the house, by all means, get a dog and leave it alone.
Right. You can just buy a basset hound.
Yeah.
You can just lay around. And just lay around all day long.
The sloth of dogs.
Right. It truly is. Oh, boy. But yeah, just looking back, I was thinking about all the records we've done for this year. We've had some interesting records. I think some different ones this year than we've done in the past. In the past, I say that like we've been doing this for 12 years or something. But yeah, we've had some different ones this year, like some of those kids' records as far as the songs and stuff. And
We started with Plan Your Dinner Party Side 1.
Yep.
And that was Dorothy and Gaynor.
oh my gosh, that was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah, like the information that they gave was interesting but incomplete. But the rapport that Dorothy and Gaynor had on side 2, if you remember, side 1 was the second recording. So it was just like the snappy, snazzy, they're moving, they're doing great.
Right.
Then you flip it over to side 2, and we got a lot of similar to what we had here. You could hear them reading. You could hear them.
Yeah. I remember a couple of times, Jake, like you could hear the paper flipping as they were talking.
Yeah, and you could just hear like abrupt stops when they were like, "This is supposed to be witty banter," and they would, and I am participating.
Right.
You know,
Add 2 cups of milk.
Yeah.
Then broil.
if you're broiling milk, you're doing.
I
but
know.
yeah,
I know. Obviously, I'm not a cook.
yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed like the Plan Your Dinner Party ones, and then we went from those to Jack Armstrong, those parts 1 through 4.
Oh, yeah, the
radio
stories. Yep.
the radio stories that were the like cereals for a cereal for Wheaties. And man, those, like we talked about it, it was just a big shift from the type of records we had been listening to switching to a new
story.
type of
Yeah, because the ones we've done in the past were more instructional, giving you information. This is just, us looking into a story and just watching a story.
Right, and jumping in at the, mid-story because it was a soap opera. It was always in motion.
Right.
And so I feel like it took a little bit of time for us to get our bearings there. But when we did, man, there was some fun things that were happening. Including one of the things I really enjoyed was turning a fight between Jack and the guy into a wrestling match.
Yes. Yes.
Layering in some sounds.
Yeah.
Adding some commentary. I thought that was a fun little. Was a fun bit. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Let's take a quick listen to that.
Yep.
Stand aside. Oh, no, you don't. Quick, Billy, close that door.
Welcome, everyone, to tonight's cage match with the All-American Boy against Cyclonus, the whirling dervish from parts unknown.
Staying right here by this door, and you're not going out until we get Captain Fairfield. Betty, see if
Armstrong starts the match with a strike to the chest. That'll take the wind out of him, Gene.
Yep. Jack has a history of using foreign objects, so the refs are going to have to be on the lookout for...
Or shall I smash these chairs over your head? Watch him, Jack. He looks dangerous. He is dangerous.
Jack is joined at ringside by the lovely Sweet Jetty Betty.
Duck and you go for his knee. But he may get you. No, I'll duck.
And his tag partner, Billy the Butcher.
Look out, he's coming.
The ref needs to keep an eye on them, too. They've interfered with a number of matches.
Speaking of that, a dirty move from Jack, knocking Cyclonus over Billy from behind. I know he's supposed to be the All-American Boy because of his voice, but it should be because he does whatever it takes to win.
And what's this? What's happening?
I got it.
All right,
Oh, of all the nerve, they've tied Cyclonus up, Jerry, with wire.
Right as I can.
The ref has to disqualify him now. This is a disgrace, a travesty, a mockery of our great sport.
Now, Gene, we don't know what was said. Perhaps Cyclonus is stealing atomic secrets from his uncle.
I got the picture, but I've got the wire.
hurry up. We've got him for the moment. Here, wrap one end around his wrist. This way. Twist it so it holds. Here, Billy, help me hold his arms together. All right, Jack. We've got him now. Tie it to the other wrist, Betty. Atta girl. Wrap it around and around.
Yep.
There you are.
And that concludes Cyclonus versus the All-American Boy. From all of us here at Nobbs Hill, I'm Gene.
And I'm Jerry. Join us next week for the rematch.
Okay. And then we also, because those were smaller snippets, we added music to those. And again, I'm saying music with the largest air quotes I can possibly create.
Yes. Yes.
Because we had, oh my gosh, Slim Goodbody.
Oh yeah, we added, that's right, we added just a little bit of music records to the end of those. I forgot about that.
And then we had...
Slim Goodbody. Oh my gosh.
I know, but...
It brings back some memories to watching TV in like 3rd and 4th grade. We used to watch those.
Yeah, no.
It was weird.
I remember. I saw Slim Goodbody once, and I was like, Mommy,
what is this? Yeah. He has no skin on.
Yeah. But Sammy, that was the song that stuck with me. And, like, what was the name of, like, it was Hap Palmer?
Hap Palmer, which the name in itself, you can insert your own joke here.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a song about Sammy.
Yeah.
And, like, who had the, the most inattentive, cruelest father imaginable.
Yes. Yeah. And so, yeah, so let's listen to that one.
Just a little.
Sammy.
This is the story about Sammy. His father sent him out to buy bread.
I don't like it already.
Sammy didn't feel like walking. He wished he could fly instead. And he said, if I was
Instead, one stay home and drink the beer.
Fly to the store, fly to the store.
Sure.
I was a bird.
How old is Sammy? That seems like an important detail here.
Fly to the store for my father.
I mean, I'm sure he's 5 or under.
Right.
He's old enough to walk.
Right. And imagine that he could fly. Yeah. We're talking about a 5-year-old.
He's fine.
This is
Just
the story
buying
about
bread.
Sammy.
Yep.
Later on in that one, when they were on a boat, we also got to hear, Geppetto. We got to hear them.
Oh,
be
yeah.
on the boat.
We did the little drama thing.
Yeah. And then, we took that and we turned it into a movie trailer for
Yeah.
Pinocchio 2.
Pinocchio 2.
That one was fun.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yep.
In a world where puppets become boys, there is one that needs no introduction.
The whale that ate me is still out there, and I'm gonna find him.
And this time, Geppetto is coming with him. Like a father, like son. It's the action team-up you never knew you wanted.
That whale made one mistake. It double-crossed me and left me alive.
Looks like we're gonna need a bigger boat. Pinocchio 2, no strings attached. Coming soon.
I liked it. So, all right. And so after those records, we did the missionary stories, side 1 and side 2. I want to say with her, well-intentioned, misguided.
Yeah.
She was...
the little lame boy.
Yes.
And didn't have a name.
Yeah. And those poor ignorant farmers who just didn't know how to grow corn.
Right.
So
one of the most basic of crops.
Yeah. If only there were white people to teach them these things.
Because white people know everything.
Yeah. So the missionary stories were interesting. And then we got into Snow White and Rose Red and the Goose Girl.
Yeah.
That was an interesting record.
Yeah, the Goose Girl I'd never heard of before, but obviously you had because you were telling me all kinds of stuff about it.
Well, okay. Like, again, German. You know, like we had a book of the Brothers Grimm in my house. And so I read the original Cinderella. I read some of these other ones that were shorter, quicker. Yeah. And, oh boy. Yeah, like every time I watch a show like Pinocchio, I just imagine a demon puppet running around punishing children.
Yeah, that's been interesting records to listen to. Even if you're used to the original story, it was still different.
Yeah,
listening to that.
But I enjoyed having Edwin show up in there.
Yes.
You know, like it was fun. It really was. And
Edwin as the king who was ambivalent, who didn't care about anything.
Yeah, I believe we used the term one of us utterly indifferent to human life. Yeah. And we went from those two records to A Day in the Life of the Dinosaur. And Steve, they can't all be winners.
No. No, they can't.
That one was part of why we do this. It was a noble experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
And that one just didn't work for what we were looking for.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's what I enjoy about our podcast. And again, thank you to all of you who listen, who've been faithful to us, and joined us. Last few episodes or even this year. But yeah, and just there's so many things that we try, so many different odd records out there. There's the typical instructional, all the Hear How records that we've done. We started with Miss Migsy a long time ago, and just to experiment with some of the other types of records.
Yes.
There's kids songs mixed in with talk. There's motivational stuff that we've looked at for next year, and just a whole range of stuff. That's just it's interesting.
Yeah. The more that we have gotten into this, the more I really have truly come to see that records, because they were that first mass media,
right,
that they really were a proto version of YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Like we talked about it, I think specifically way back with Stan the Man Musial about how to hit a baseball, because we were like, this is the dumbest thing in the world.
On a record.
Yeah.
How is an audio going to teach me how to hold a bat and how to swing it?
Right. And it was one of those where it was like, yes, you have this recorded. Yes, people can take this and they can listen to it. But records are not an inherently portable medium.
Right.
And so the fact that you could do something
doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can fairly say that about more than half the videos that are on YouTube today. It's like, just because you can doesn't mean it's a good idea.
There is nothing new under the sun, Steve.
No,
and that's
I
part of
know.
why I think you and I enjoy this. So many of the jokes that we share, these are jokes that other people have said in years and years and years.
Yeah.
But we're trying to use them with a medium that doesn't really exist anymore. These instructional records, there is no purpose for them.
Right. Well, it's interesting just because, vinyl, of course, is being popular the last few years of records, all these hipsters going to, music stores and stuff. And so that's why I enjoy doing this podcast, because it brings another avenue. It's like, there are some great music records, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, all kinds of other ones. But this is a different venue of records, of old records, you can look at, that are just, if nothing else, they're fun to just listen to.
Yes. They're a signpost on the road of history.
Right.
Like this was the first try at something that
right.
the better and best version of it was waiting down the road in the future. It was waiting for technology to catch up.
Right.
But the idea,
right.
You can see the idea was right here. It was, we can record this and we can save it, and then people can hear it and they can learn it.
Maybe.
Sort of.
Right. I know there's one record that we're looking at for next year that we've joked about it several times is Hear How to Sail a Boat.
Yes.
I'm thinking that is like the epitome of being ridiculous. Like, are you really going to take it, even if your boat has electricity, to plug into, how are you going to have a record player on a boat and it's going to give you directions on how to sail your boat?
Yeah. We talked about it. It's a weird idea. It's a good idea, poorly executed, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then we went to, finally, we finished out this season with Train Your Dog. And season 1, or that
episode
season
1.
That episode 1, there were some good jokes on there. It was just that nobody could hear them.
I know.
We didn't know how to use a brand new board.
I know. I felt like such an idiot. Of course, my kids listen to our podcast, and on my way here this morning, it was like, "Yep, it's podcast day as we record." And one of my sons said, "Well, hopefully you can hear it this time." I'm like, "Shut up."
Then Steve just got in his car and cried and cried.
And I will never return to my house again.
This is fun, and we now have a very nice place to record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we have better equipment that is important to know how to use.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And we have put in that time and effort. So we are hopeful that from this point moving forward, as we learn more and more records, that things are going to get clearer.
Yeah.
But again,
exactly.
this makes me want to pay more attention to how well I write my jokes.
Yep. Yeah.
Because if people can hear them more clearly.
Me too. Yeah. Again, we also want to hear from you guys. You can contact us via email, vinylwar22@gmail.com. We have Facebook. And also on a lot of the venues like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and some other ones, they have a place where you can leave a comment. Mm-hmm. I know Spotify does at least. So at the end you can say, "Hey."
SoundCloud, I think, also does.
Yeah, SoundCloud, yeah. And also we put all of our podcasts on YouTube, at least the audio versions of those. And we've been trying to do some more video stuff, which is fun too. But yeah, we would love to hear from you guys. If you have a record, maybe just give us like a link to the record, we're looking to buying it or whatever, or just feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys and, what you think. And again, thank you for listening to us. And
I want us to think about just for maybe a one-off episode next season, just talking about some of the records that we have found that won't work for our podcast, but are still interesting to know.
Yeah. And we'll give you a little sneak preview of one. There's one we found called The Elephant Child,
which is just
it's so bizarre. It's a story. It's just all audio.
It's Rudyard
speaking.
Kipling.
Yeah, it's a great story, narrated by Jack Nicholson.
Yes,
with some bebop and music by
Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah, but yeah, it'd be fun to do that. Just some records that maybe didn't make the cut.
Yeah,
we could play just a few seconds of those,
and other records that we have found. For example, we found a record from Betty White.
Oh,
it's
yes,
not the kind that you're thinking of.
No, it's not.
Dance instruction. Turns out Betty White knew Arthur Miller, personally from the Arthur Miller schools.
Yeah,
of
dance studios. Yeah.
And she was a regular guest on his TV show where the early TV
I didn't realize
in the 40s.
He even had a show.
They taught and would show people dance steps. And Betty White would show up because she loved to dance.
Yeah.
But once we found that out, we were like, okay, we have to buy this.
Yeah.
This is absolutely just such a...
Yeah. I remember when I texted you, I found it, I was like, Betty White, Brian, Betty White, we have to buy this.
Right.
Even though it's a dance record, we have to buy it.
Right. Because we were like, maybe there's a 10% chance this is funny. And no, it was a zero. It's like Betty White just enjoyed dancing, so she did this.
That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And they put everything on record. That's the part that I am just...
Yeah, it's bizarre. Again, we've gone to thrift stores and stuff and found some that, from local gospel groups and stuff and different high school marching bands that recorded their stuff. And it was definitely the YouTube, because you'll find anything on YouTube. And it was the same thing on records. It was just like, why would you spend money on producing a record of this?
Right.
That's why it's at Goodwill for $1.
Right. It's but that's part of what makes it interesting. Is
Yeah.
that there's gold out there.
Yeah.
But there's way more drops.
Yeah, there's lots of panning for that gold too. Trust me. You and I both have put in several hours at thrift stores and online shopping at places. But
yeah, it really is incredible. But season 3, this is year 3 essentially of this.
I'm excited.
It's been a lot of fun to do. We're looking forward to still doing it. And we might be doing this until one of us dies, because we will never, ever run out of material.
I'll be sitting in a nursing home. Oh, wait, got to get my nurse to get my oxygen tank hooked up.
Time to record the pod.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, as we come upon this Christmas season, again, we just want to thank everybody for listening and for telling others about our podcast. We have, seen some growth, which we couldn't have happened without you guys. So we appreciate it so much. Just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. We'll be taking a short break until January. And so, again, you can contact us. We're on Facebook. Contact us there. You can send us an email to vinylword22@gmail.com.
And I just want to say that we enjoy doing this for you guys. And we're trying to bring some light and some levity into the world.
Yep, exactly.
And so, take that lightness, take that levity, and make somebody else's day brighter as well.
Yep. So from us here at the Vinyl Word Podcast, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Ho, ho, ho.